I think in terms of what Mr. Pettigrew has already stated, he's laid it out. And the fact of the matter is, there's still time. We can still do this. It's been a long night. It's been a tough night. And I think the issue is pretty clear. And I think what we've been hearing from the public in terms of making this a political issue is absolutely correct. This should not be a political issue. We should not use students as a bargain for anything. But I think when you look at the facts, when you hear the stories about Joe the plumber looking for a job, lives right here in Middletown, when you hear about the students who are not going to Harvard, who are looking for a skill, a trade, looking for money to survive in this kind of tough economy, you've got to factor in the dad who stands up and says, my kid needs the food. Lives right here in Middletown. Kid needs food. When Mr. Bierstow says, I want to be able to tell my kid about the Midi pride that I have in my community. I helped build that school that you're studying in. It all adds to the local community here, and the key word is local. We did, it is true, we had a member from Oswego who was told that he could not speak here, and the quote that was used at that time by Mr. Geiger after he spoke, or after he didn't get the opportunity to speak, rather, we're not going to allow people from outside of this community to tell us what we can do and how we can do to educate our kids. Flip side tonight, you've got people from Pearl River, not necessarily not necessarily part of this local community, quote unquote local community. It's okay for them to speak against PLAs and have that factor into the decision. And look, and I'm not for it one way or the other. I think everyone should be allowed to speak. But there should be equanimity, and it should go across the board. Everyone should have the considerations factored. So when you look at the parents locally and the tax base locally, you got to ask yourself a question. Either you're for the study to determine whether or not there's a cost-saving factor, and whether or not you're willing to make that step. A vote tonight for a due diligence report pretty much says whether we're going to save money or we're not going to save money, we're going to at least see if there's an opportunity to do it. And a vote against doing a due diligence report pretty much says to the local community and to the community beyond is that we're not even willing to take that step. You don't want project labor agreements, you can vote against it at a future time. But at least you say, I'm for fairness, I'm for democracy, and let's see what we can do to save money for our local taxpayers. That much you do owe. And I think I couldn't say any better than the one person who got up to the microphone and said with passion, with heartfelt expression, with a sense of Midi pride that we all like to talk about here. And he got a bit choked up when he said it, because I think it meant so much to someone who was born and raised in this community. And he said in 2 sentences, do the report, do the do the study. Do the do the study. I implore all of you to vote to do the do and do the study. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.